Hello again, everyone. Good old Genghis here, of course. And I've got a STI replay for you today. I think that's probably the first one. I've actually got this tank for a decent while now, I don't know, a month maybe or something. Got it around the time where I got my Object 416. And I'm really loving it, but this was my first, well, game which I really deemed duty worthy. But it's a very powerful tank. The turret armor front is just excessively good, like only, you know, over 300 pin has a chance of going through some parts of it, like the mantlet or the front, but even then I say chance, not guaranteed. Like as long as it's not an E3 spamming APCR, turret is just incredibly good. The upper hull is very good too, except against heat spam, but it reliably bounces, you know, 270 APCR, like tier 10 medium APCR, yeah, that kind of a gun. If you angle it a little bit, side armor is also very good. Not E100 good, but very good still. And the gun is also pretty damn decent, like it's not a bad gun at all. It's got a nice 440 alpha, it's got an okayish accuracy and aim time. And the DPM, you know, it's a heavy tank, so it's not got great DPM, and it's not like a, you know, Conqueror or something which has just medium DPM either. But it does its damage over time, and it's pretty nice. Penetration is good. Most of you, or some of you, probably know this gun from the IS-8. If you went over that line to the IS-7, well, you know, only way to get the IS-7, but it's the exact same gun. And it's also the same gun which is on the IS-4. It's really nothing to complain about. Another very good thing, and kind of surprising, considering it's shot was meant for the T-32 and I ate it. Considering it's a Russian tank, this tank actually has very good gun depression. If I'm not wrong, it's 8 degrees, and that really enables you to use that fantastic turret armor to its best effect. Anyway, we are on El Haluf. It's a tier 9 game with a decent amount of tier 9s. I think they have one more. But there is no RT, so that's very nice. And yeah, there is also none of those very high pen guns like Object 704, for example, could be, or T95. So yeah, I'm gonna go to this corner. Wasn't my plan initially, but as the enemies had no tanks over here, I could cross without a problem. Now I want a side script here, but the thing is, well, those M103 and T32 are kind of blocking me, but I still managed to figure it out. I get tracked, but I really don't want to waste my repair kit right now. Take a shot at the lower plate of the STI. Oh yeah, that is one thing you have to note though, the lower plate of the STI is very weak indeed, like around 170 effective if I'm not wrong. At least under 200, I remember that for sure. So, yeah, that's kind of a disappointment. But if you manage to hide it, which isn't too hard, that's pretty small, it's a very strong tank. So the M103 got basically destroyed by the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tanks in front of him, something like that. I loaded heat for the simple reason that there is a VKB over there who was in the front line, and he's basically impenetrable with AP at this kind of an angle, except if I manage to hit the cupola. So yeah, that's why I'm loaded heat in between. Went back to AP now, there's just simply enough other targets, and he's very well angled. The STI is trying to get a shot on me, but I just go back, bounce it, and hit the wreck. One thing I would like to show you, by the way, right now, if you were in the enemy team and you would try and penetrate me, the only chance you've got, except for my cupola, but I'm actually hiding that behind the M103 turret right now, is if you manage to hit the engine deck, because as you see when I'm going up, my ass goes upwards a bit, so there's a chance of shooting my engine deck, and if you've got more than a 120mm gun, you can actually penetrate like right here. I know it's a very hard shot, but that's pretty much your best chance if you were fighting me right now in the enemy team. Managed to connect my third shot at last, and you can see I've not taken any damage yet at all. And as I'm just standing here side scraping and yeah, dealing damage. The Borzik thought it was smart to go out over there, but he figured out it wasn't, I guess. The T-32 is still behind me. I wanted to take out the STI there, but he just died. So I go back to my side scrape and yeah, miss a shot. I figured E75 was about to go back because he just fired. So that's why I took a snapshot there. But sadly it didn't pay off. Trying to get a shot on the IS-8, but it flies high, and the IS-8 turret is still pretty damn good. Although there's really a big difference between the IS-8 turret and the STI turret, for example. I'm loading heat for the next shot, as I expect to be forced to fight the VK in a bit. And yeah, I mean, the lower plate of that is like 320 effective, so you know what I mean. For those of you who really have troubles penetrating VKBs, if you're like at close quarters, your best chance is just spamming heat through the upper plate by shooting down on it. Otherwise, at longer range, your best chance is the turret front with heat. I mean, of course, you can go for the cupola, but yeah. Also, the turret sides are extremely weak, so as soon as he doesn't point his turret directly at you, you can really go through that with even mediocre spin. And yeah, you see me aim for it there. However, the shot goes low and hits the door plate. But the turret side right there, I could be penetrating with AP actually, without a problem. Even at that not very extreme angle he's giving me. Yeah, I say it's kind of an easier shot, so I decide to go for him. As the enemies are not focusing on me anymore, I decide that there's no point in me side-scraping, I can just angle normally. Which enables me to move forwards way faster if I decide to do that. Which is also what I was about to do. I noticed the IS-3 pushing from behind, but he's still, let's say, out of my shot. Still got a heat shell loaded, but now I go back to loading AP as I'm just not getting any shots on the VK. I've by now dealt nearly 4k, well, 3.5k damage. And I am still full life, which is kind of impressive considering the amount of shots I've taken. But yeah, my team has still kind of foundered, we're down 2 tanks. However, HP wise it's actually pretty even. I'm waiting for the E75 to come out, I'm trying to get a shot on the cupola there. See, I've got a tiny shot on his cupola behind the AMX 5100 wreck. But yeah, it's just not going in. I might to reload, then I go back out. Try and snap one in into his lower plate. Again, I know he's going to shoot and immediately go back, so there's no, I don't have time to aim forever. So that's why I do it that way. Anyway, I decided it's just time to push now, even if I eat a shot on the way, possibly. Also, note how I'm not driving straightly at him, I'm trying to angle and maybe bait a shot on my side, or make it harder for him to pre-aim my lower plate as it's going to be moving. RT-54 is a huge mistake though, just YOLOing in. He should really have waited for me or the KB4 to take the E75 shot and then just circle him or so. Instead he decided to waste his HP. Get a nice shot into the E75's lower plate, and you see immediately, I basically side scrape behind the 5100's wreck, even if I'm around 20 meters away from it. So that was very nice. And I managed to take another shot on the E75's lower plate, taking him out. Now I'm kind of wondering right now where the hell the VKB went, because he was right here, last spotted. And then he gets spotted behind me. However, I see a Tiger 2 in the open, and I figure that the VKB is probably going to take a bit of time to kill the KB4, so I can take out the Tiger 2. He does actually the first shot of damage to me, shooting HE for some reason, but I managed to take him out nonetheless. After that, I turn around, load another heat shell, or one of my last 3 heat shells even. And yeah, the KB4 just runs away, although there's not much to blame. Like, I really wouldn't want to be a stock KB4 fighting a VKB. I really didn't want to shoot the SU there, especially as I had one of my 2 last heat shells, or 3 at the moment, at the time I mean, loaded, but I just, if I've got a target I'm not going I am going to shoot it. There again, I managed to sling in a very beautiful shot, at least in my opinion, in the SU-100's lower plate. Not in the lower plate. Wow, gotta concentrate, sorry. I managed to get in a shot under the IS-8 wreck into the SU-100, and I noticed the VKB is simply falling back. Now, right now, yeah, apparently I'm shooting a gold pussy, whatever that means. I'm really worried about one thing, which is that the Yak Panther 2, who was last spotted here, but it's really a fast tank, he could have relocated to this area, which is over here or over here, and when I try and push the VKB he could really tear up my my back or side or whatever, as he's got a very very good DPM indeed. However, I decided I have to take the risk, I have to get out the enemies, game is very close now, and I have to go at it, get them out one by one, and I can't let them time to regroup. And that VKB is very low life, but still a very dangerous target. There again, you saw me hunt for a shot on his side armor, or turret side I mean, but he managed to turn it in the very last second. Now apparently the Yak Panther 2 or neither the M103 are behind me, so I just, stand here and once again I'm gonna side scrape. Tried to shoot the cupola but it missed, or it hit, the turret roof instead. Well, that's basically missed now. So yeah, here I am aiming at the cupola again. But this time I managed to get in a hit, making him a one-shot. And I managed to get another one in, which was pretty much a close shot into that guy. Now our base has pretty much fallen, but as it's an encounter, as a base falling doesn't matter at all. Base for me is a spawn point more or less. Our 704 is kind of fighting. Fighting is probably the wrong word to Jack Panther 2, because one is above and one is below, and I'm pretty much convinced they can't shoot each other. But the M103 flanks the 704, so he's probably going to die right now. I don't know how much HP the M103 is, however I see that Jack Panther 2 is still a 2 to 3 shot depending on how I roll. So that's not very good news for me. I shoot the Jack Panther 2 but I get really unlucky and I just critical hit his tracks there. But I do not get spotted, so that's very positive. I expect him to rush up from the side over here right now, because that, that's how he was kind of driving. So I just pre-aim for that. And I was correct. And I managed to get in a nice high roll, which is really helpful right now. The M103 is aiming at me, but he just bounces. I mean, at this kind of range, he just shoots at me generally. He's got no chance of, aiming at my lower plate at 520 meters. Well, he can aim at it, but the probability of him hitting it is very, very low. So, yeah, my armor is pretty much massive at this kind of a range. Of course, my gun isn't the best for this kind of a range either. Now the 704 is still alive, and I really want to get out at Jack Panther 2. So I push up forwards pretty aggressively. I don't want to let them regroup or at worst like let them flank me or whatever. Having the M103 in front of me and the Jack Panther 2 coming in my side and putting in 1 or 2 shots into me. But the 704 somehow, like he was fighting those two guys forever, actually manages to take out the Jack Panther 2 just before going down, I think, in a second. Now the T-54 thinks I am a devil. If you could explain me why, I would really be gratified, because I could just not imagine what he thinks I've been doing wrong. One issue I have though is that I need basically 3 shots to kill the M103, and I've only got 6 shots left. Now it shouldn't be a problem, but if I bounce too much I'm gonna have to resort to HE. But I managed to get in a very nice snapshot there in his side, both tracking him and damaging him. And I also noticed that he repairs very quickly, so either he's got a very, very good repair crew, or way more likely he just uses repair kit, which would have been a mistake, because he could have repaired long before I reload probably anyway. But if he doesn't have a repair kit anymore, that, it's a pretty good big advantage for me. He bounces me and I just go forwards and put another one into his side. I'm about to push forward, but then I realize, hey, he reloads first. Now, I'm gonna kill him anyway, look at the HP advantage. But I want to finish this game full life, so wait till I reload. And, wow. I am at his turret roof cupola right there, but the shot just decided to, I don't know, go visit the sun. But the M103 does some bad driving and takes literally forever to get out, which allows me, well, to take him out before he actually gets a shot on me. Let's have a look at the post-game stats of this pretty epic game. So I got a, in my opinion, rather unsurprising ace tanker. Cool-headed, which actually means I survived 10 ricochets or non-penetrations in a row, a steel wall and a high caliber. But yeah, let's have a look at how much I actually bounced in this game for a second. Now I did nearly 8,000 damage, or 7,800 to be exact. Got 5 kills in the process. Got 1,606 raw XP, which in a heavy tank is pretty damn massive. I mean, so is 8,000 damage in a tier 9 in my opinion. And I actually managed to block 6,260 with my armor. And, I mean, remember, I literally didn't take any damage except for 1 shot from a Tiger 2 who was shooting high explosive. Like, it's not like I lost nearly all of my HP bouncing that much. This just shows you, like, how good the armor of this tank is, as long as you're not fighting gold spam or tier 10 TDs. Or some tier 9 TDs, like I said, 704, mainly the T95 or T30, which have extremely high penetrations, nearly at 290. But the armor of this tank, if you manage to hide the lower plate and you don't get flanked, it's pretty ridiculous. Is it better than the E75 armor? We can really have a, I don't know, hour-long discussion over that, because both have their advantages and disadvantages. But it's really a beast of a tank, and you didn't even see it here that much. I mean, you saw the turret strength, by, you know, me side scripting, hiding my hole behind the M103 wreck. But the 8 degrees of gun depression really allow you to use that extremely good turret armor, which is the best armor on the tank. You know, the whole armor is great, but the turret armor is just incredibly good. Wherever you want, basically, like, it's very, very good in that sense. And way better. I would say this tank is better at going hull down than an E5 or, I don't know, even an i7, because, okay, an i7 doesn't have a good body and a tiny bit better turret, but it's got 3 degrees less of gun depression, or 4? 3 less, I think. And that's just a massive difference. So, yeah. I did a total of 35 shots, of which 28 hit and 20 penetrated. You know, not too surprising considering I was shooting like side-scripting VKs and E75s who were more or less hull down and angled and stuff. I earned 102,000 credits brute. I only earned 15,000 net due to the fact that I shot a lot of heat to try and take out that VKB. And in the end ended up shooting the heat at everything except him, more or less. But, you know, that's how the way the battle goes, and I don't have a problem with shooting a bit of heat if it allows me to carry the game. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this more or less monster game, at least in my opinion. And see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.